Now, on a couple of other issues, the government's projections have emissions reduction down to 35 to 38% at 2030. If Labor and Anthony Albanese sets that as their target, it's a bit hard to run a scare campaign against them, isn't it? Given they're basically just formalising the target that you say you're going to get to anyway.
Well, they're going to legislate it. Did they say they're legislating it? The answer is yes. What's in the legislation? Let's have a look. I mean, look, Dr. Jim Chalmers, Charmingly Sneaky Jim. Charmingly Sneaky Jim has obviously knows what the legislation is. Charmingly Sneaky Jim, Mr. Albanese, obviously know what they're going to say. Why are they waiting till Parliament rises? Why don't they give us we've given our plan, why don't they give us theirs? Why don't we have a proper debate with their plan and our plan while Parliament's sitting? That's why we have a Parliament. But
Was the Prime Minister...
They're sneaky. They're very sneaky. They're very sneaky people. And very sneaky people don't want you to know about what's in their plan till we all go home for Christmas.
Heaven forbid, sneaky politicians, who would have thought? But was the Prime Minister amenable to a higher 2030 target, but you had to intervene to stop that from happening?
Well, I'm very happy with the work of the National Party in making sure we secure the jobs of people in central Queensland, the Hunter Valley, and stand behind our dairy producers and stand behind our cattle producers and make sure that methane's excluded and make sure that we earn the export dollars from these incredible exports that support everything from the ABC to the NDIS to your pharmaceutical benefit scheme.
So that's
Remember,
a yes.
You mightn't like coal mining, you might like the hole in the ground, but by God, you like the fact that you can get a pension and you like the fact that you can get subsidised health. You like the fact you have a police force. This money has to come from somewhere. And here's the big one. The big one that no one sort of talks about is this. If we didn't earn export dollars, then that polymer note in your pocket, the red polymer note with 20 on it, the $20 note, would not be demanded by people overseas because they say, why would I want your currency? There's very little now I can buy with it because you keep shutting down your exports in Australia. So if you want to buy something from us overseas, we're going to need a lot more of those polymer notes. And, of course, that's inflation. When inflation goes up, interest rates go up. We are making sure that we keep product going on the boat so that we can take goods off the boat. See, they won't send you your phone, your suit, your tie, your fridge, your lights, whatever you like, unless which you get off a boat, unless you're sending something on a boat in the other direction. And guess what we send on a boat in the other direction? Iron ore, coal, gas, daylight, bit of education, agricultural products. You start shutting those down, the people overseas say, well, mate, what are you going to put on your boat? Well, an accountant or an insurance salesman.
That sounded
how does that work?
That sounded like a yes. That did sound like a yes to me, but you're not going to confirm that, obviously. Let's just one last one before you go. The Integrity Commission.
I shouldn't dance around it. The National Party were absolutely affirmed that we weren't going to have it wasn't going to be 2030 targets. Okay. Now, the Prime Minister is leader of the Liberal Party and leader of the coalition. He can talk for his party's views. At that section, as you knew, the National Party was negotiating with the Liberal Party. So I'll tell you what the National Party's position was. The National Party was absolutely affirmed that we weren't going to have 2030 targets.